There have been a plethora of xenomorph hybrids. I mean, from ape-like xenos to fish-like xenos, there's hardly a class of animals that the xenomorphs have not merged with. In Batman Aliens 2, we saw a whole bunch of xenomorphs, who were created by splicing the DNA of members from Batman's Rogues Gallery, members like Killer Croc, Poison Ivy, Harvey Dent, etc. However, the most interesting and scariest of these was the hybrid spliced from the DNA of the Joker. As you could probably imagine, this dude was the definition of super and supervillain, and would have wrought immense havoc if not stopped. Although the Joker morph appeared in the very climax of the miniseries, exploring the entire comic for that uber exciting and high-octane part is totally worth it. In this video, we will explore the Batman Aliens 2 to understand the origin of this magnificent beast, and its powers and abilities. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you! Let's begin. The Prelude. So, the saga of Batman Aliens 2 actually started much before the time that the comic is set in. Back in 1927, the wealthy professor who's all about ancient stuff gets his hands on a map, pointing to a hidden land under Antarctica. He took the 14th century Dutch copy of the lost Venetian transcript and embarked on a journey that he believed would find the true origin of mankind, something that would prove that all humans were, in fact, beings of existential godhood, instead of being akin to apes. So, he packed up his crew and headed to Mount Erebus, the most southern volcano, and here they found an entrance, thanks to some timely volcanic help. Inside, it was nothing like anyone had seen before, ancient and complex. But here's where it gets interesting. They find these weird egg-like things, frozen, but not dead. Now, the crew did not know what these large eggs were, but we do, right? Yep, you guessed it. These were ovomorphs, which is also pretty obvious, since it's an alien story we're discussing. These things thaw, and without disappointment, the facehuggers pop out, ready to give the worst kind of hugs by forcing themselves on people's mouths. Some 72 hours later, chaos spreads its ugly wings, as the chestbusters erupt out of their hosts. Only the professor and this guy named Gregory Hudson are left standing. Hudson's got a no-mercy policy, and he wipes out anyone who might turn into an alien snack. He was ready to bounce with the professor, planning to blow the joint to smithereens and trap the aliens. But the latter thought that Hudson was out for his blood too, and made a break for it, and somehow survived the cold to tell the tale. Interestingly, he'd also managed to get his hands on a facehugger. It wasn't long before he made it back to Gotham, where he also had a lab. Like most science guys in comic books, he had this mad scientist type idea that the facehugger's kiss was like an evolutionary fast track back to godhood or something. So he volunteers as tribute, letting the facehugger do its thing. And just like that, xenomorphs arrived in Gotham once again. Batman meets the Xenos again. Jump to Gotham 70 years later, the crew at DeCristo Constructions finds itself in a bit of a fix while digging around. They stumble upon a basement that was locked up tighter than a maximum security vault. We're talking 6-foot thick walls, iron vans, and shipping quality steel. The boss, Stephen DeCristo, ditches a fancy dinner with the governor and Gotham's elite, including Bruce Wayne, to see what's up. They were supposed to clear the area, but this find was like a brick wall, literally. The only weak spot is the door, so they go all in with acid and hammers to get it open. What they find inside is straight out of a horror movie. Think Frankenstein's lab on steroids. But the real insult to injury was the xenomorph in there, which was ready to party the only way it knows how, by turning the crew into a meal. Of course, this mess catches Batman's eye, especially since DeCristo was a no-show at the dinner. The crime scene that Batman later found was nothing less than a slaughterhouse. Blood, bones, the works. Gordon also arrives at the spot. The destruction so profound that he thought chainsaws must have been the weapon of choice, since the bodies were left totally shredded. Interestingly, they find the professor's body too, which looked like something erupted from the inside out. Additionally, the room was so airtight that it practically became a time capsule. There was no decay, but that chest wound was telling a grisly tale, a film that Batman had seen before. They also stumble upon what looked like a xenomorph's hive. Batman goes through the professor's journal back at his cave, then meets Gordon to bring him up to speed. Gordon was freaking out because his city was basically hosting these alien killing machines. Later, they find the creature on the 9th Street subway, right under their noses and next to the construction site. Batman heads down there and finds people cocooned to the walls. And it was not just one xenomorph. He found evidence of a host of these creatures. Batman began fighting the Xenos, and although it was an all-out brawl, thanks to his skills, or maybe just sheer luck, he makes it out with just a few rips in his suit. But as he steps out, it becomes clear to him that this is just the beginning. He's seen the victims, face-hugged and waiting to hatch more nightmares. Gotham's in for a wild ride. Batman then rescues 3 dudes from becoming chestbuster hosts hosts, and gets them to a hospital just in time. Enter Dr. Catherine Fortune, who's all mysterious, and with background. Even Batman can't crack her code. In reality, she was not just any doc. She was in fact a walking, talking alien-queen hybrid, thanks to a souvenir from the old Antarctic trip, and her disease that kept the Queen Chestbuster from doing its grand exit. Catherine had super strength and ninja reflexes, and was barely aged. World War II had her on the military's radar, and later she was mingling with the big shots, aiming to keep superheroes in check, just in case they get too big for their boots. Her pet project was mixing her alien DNA with Gotham's worst from Arkham Asylum to create the Rogues Gallery version of Xenomorphs. Her experiments turned Gotham's major villains into alien hybrids, with heavy hitters like Two-Face, Mr. Freeze, Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, and of course the Joker. And with a dash of her own DNA, these creations are wired to see her as their queen. Joker Morph. The Joker Xenomorph had a pale white appearance that made him unique among its darker Xenomorph pals. But the most interesting aspect about this thing was that it had the Joker's chaotic vibe all over it. From its military getup that looked like the Bugman from Alien's Colonial Marine comics, to its eerie smile painted with red lips, scream Joker all the way. But unlike your garden variety Xenomorph, this bad boy doesn't have the inner mouth, though it still had the usual acid for blood. Now this Joker alien can spit acid like nobody's business, and can turn one of the Joker's favorite tricks into a deadly weapon. This makes it a walking disaster zone, perfectly meshing with the Joker's love for chaos. Additionally, it can actually understand and follow Dr. Catherine Fortune's orders. While it could technically handle human weapons, it never got to show it off. Batman vs. the Joker Xenomorph was a quick fight, but quite the epic slice of the Batman Aliens 2 comic. To protect himself from the Xenomorphs, Batman wore a mech suit and went on a mission in a secret base when the Joker Morph tried to sneak attack him. Batman was not caught off guard though, and with a headbutt, he tossed the alien jester aside. The Joker Morph then tried to douse Batman in acid blood, but missed. Things got trickier when Dr. Fortune, watching from afar, commands her other monstrous creatures to gang up on Batman. In a twist of fate, one of the hybrids tries to take Batman down, but Batman dodged it, and the bullet hit the Joker Xenomorph instead. The Joker Morph goes down with a splash of acid, taking the shooter's weapon out with it. That's curtains for the Joker alien. And not long after, Batman wraps up the rest of the Arkham hybrids and Dr. Fortune, with the Killer Croc Xenomorph turning out to be the real tough cookie in the bunch. So that was the Joker Morph for you. If you have even a passerby's knowledge of Marvelous videos, you'd know that we're totally into the Alienverse, and have also explored other amazing Xenomorph versions, including Killer Croc Xeno from Batman Aliens 2. Do check it out, and if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one, and be safe. Thanks everyone!